Now loading. Nerdgasm.
Woo! Let's go!
It's the Nerdgasm Podcast.
That's got a kick!
Why couldn't God take my hand?
With Alan Bailey.
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
And Shawn McBee.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Wow. Someone needs a new mic arm. Okay, stop. Stop or die. I will quit this podcast.
Welcome to the Nerdgasm Podcast. I'm Alan Bailey.
And I'm annoyed.
I made a slight adjustment to my mic arm, and you get this like super creepy. I don't even know where that squeak is in my mic arm. I'm going to get some WD-40 and have at it after the show. But for today, we have all the, and you're showing off your articulation skills.
Well, that's what happens when you have a $400 mic arm that only cost you $10.
Nice. Look at you getting the deals, working the angles.
Yeah. See, it's a double douche move because it's like, I'm so rich and fancy, but also I got a good deal. So like I get to play both ends of the spectrum.
You got a great deal, my friend. Not a good deal, a great deal. And I got a similar deal. These were less than $10. I'm not saying they were free, but they were a lot less than $10. But
and you get what you pay for, buddy.
Exactly.
You hear that creak?
No, they're great, but the problem is, and this is my issue, I never lubed them up, and they were sitting in, storage for a good 10 years, gathering dust, not being lubricated.
I got Yellowtech Mika arms. They are the gold standard of mic arms. I don't believe that there are any mic arms made that are better or more sought after.
When did this become like nerdy podcast talk show? Like, no, this is Nerdgasm.
You just moved that an inch and it sounded like the Doctor opening the door to the TARDIS.
This is also true. My bad. Not moving the mic anymore. But we do have nerdy news. So, first story. There is a report. There's a lot of reports going on right now, but there is a report that there is an IronHeart live-action series being developed for Disney Plus, potentially filming in 2021. What are your thoughts on IronHeart?
Sure. Basically, Tony's dead.
Yeah.
We have War Machine, which is like, Don Cheadle, please eat a sandwich. You look so skinny lately.
Yeah.
But we don't really have like an Iron Man replacement because War Machine is definitely its own thing with a different focus, namely on firepower over technology. Because I don't think Tony's upgraded his suit at all. I think that's the Iron Man 2 War Machine suit. He's just like, Tony hasn't taken it back, and so he just keeps adding guns to it.
Something I didn't notice from Endgame, and I don't know how I didn't register. Well, I know how there was a lot of shit going on in that final epic battle. If you actually look at War Machine in Endgame in that final battle, it's the Iron Patriot suit. I don't know how I didn't register that, but it's like literally he literally just grabbed another suit. It was like, oh, dude needs an upgrade. Dude needs something. I mean, he's gotten like shit piled on that suit after time, but it just, yeah.
Right. So basically, they could run it like this. Pepper isn't going to use her suit to go be Iron Lady.
No.
Though how great would it be if she did become Prime Minister of the UK? Because Margaret Thatcher was called the Iron Lady. So,
nice.
So, you've got Pepper's suit established. Pepper can gift that suit to Riri. And boom, that's easy. And of course, yeah, you're going to want to take advantage of whatever IP you have.
Yeah.
And if it's an opportunity to get a little more diversity into the Marvel Universe, that's great. You got a young black woman as the lead on a show, do it. Fine.
I'm looking it up, but how old is Riri in the comics? I want to say she's 14, 15.
I think she started at 15. I don't know if she has aged at all because comic books.
Yeah, she's 15 years old. She's an engineering student. She was only created in 2015. I looked it up because I knew it was recent, but I didn't think it was that recent. So
that's because they killed Tony Stark.
Yeah, which
now that Tony Stark is a huge popular character, we can kill him and make a big deal out of it. Is what happened.
Yeah, and to me, I think that this is a great idea because Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, really explored the idea of who's replacing Iron Man. I didn't think Iron Man in the MCU was as big as he was until really he was gone. Really, frankly.
Are you coming out as being kind of dumb?
You would think so. No, I knew he was obviously a huge part of that universe. But frankly, because they've toyed with Tony's death so many times before, I never really saw what Iron Man meant to that universe until Far From Home. That's where it was glaring. So Peter Parker was kind of toying with the idea of, am I the next Iron Man? Can I be the next Iron Man? And in that universe, I don't know if anybody can live up to that benchmark of what Tony Stark was, not only as far as the technology and the humanitarian efforts that he did throughout the years in that universe, but also being that symbol of just hope. Like, he was that universe's Superman in a way. And I think that if Riri does this, she's going to have a lot on her plate. And frankly, I think that there's some wonderful stories that you can explore. Namely, you have a woman who happens to be African American trying to take up the role of, frankly, a white male. And knowing how America is, at least in 2020, you're going to have a lot of backlash with that, because I know how America is in 2020. And frankly, I would love to see social commentary on that within the MCU. I think that'd be a cool storyline, and Riri has a great story to tell as well, and she could be a great role model for years to come for little girls everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
So I
mean, did you think I was going to argue with you? I don't know what you want from me here, man.
I know. So I no comment. No, this isn't like official. It's purely rumor at this point. It's a couple of people who have reported this and are reporting this rumor online, hoping it's a lot more than a rumor. But at this point, it's just a report. But we shall see. Another MCU, is that what we're calling these Disney Plus shows for Marvel? Another MCU show for Disney Plus, WandaVision, which reportedly has finished filming principal photography.
I can confirm.
It has, okay. But there is a huge question mark on if it will still be released with its original release date.
It wrapped shortly before the pandemic hit, shutting everything down. So they probably weren't very far into post-production, which is going to require a lot of VFX at a guess. So I don't know. It's a big if, and that's really what it comes down to is, did they get post-production finished or not?
And my understanding is they're doing the week-to-week, so in theory, you can go episode by episode and hopefully stay a few weeks ahead of the release. But there's a lot. I don't know the show, but I'm assuming there's a heavy amount of post-production on this. Because Wanda...
from what I know about it, I would estimate it to be similar to Legion in scope of VFX.
Okay.
Again, that's a guess, but I have more insider information than most people.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, you live in Atlanta, so you live and you know people who know people.
And I work in the film industry in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know people who worked on WandaVision.
Yeah, so it's and obviously, and for the nitwits who don't know how this works, you're not going to say I know, Joe Smith on the show, because Joe Smith would go into work tomorrow and not have a job if you did that.
Well, not tomorrow because coronavirus.
Yeah.
But yes, if I were to name names, I mean, we're talking Disney and Marvel here.
Yeah.
Like, someone's going to get shot.
Yeah, the mouse, Mickey's going to come for you. Mickey's going to come for Joe Smith. Mickey's going to come for me. Mickey will try to come for anybody who listened to this episode of the podcast. And it will...
Someone needs to make a movie about joining the Disney hit squad. Like, an assassin transitioning into the Disney spoiler hit squad.
I literally want the guys from South Park to do it, and I want them to literally make Mickey Mouse from that one episode of South Park to be their boss, where he just walks in. It's a short Mickey Mouse animation. Hi, I heard you started to spoil Marvel stuff, huh?
Alternately, we can just go, we could just grab the movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith VFX a Mickey Mouse hat on Brad Pitt through the entire movie.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, actually. Internet, get on that.
Done.
Get on that, Internet. I know somebody at home right now is going, that ain't a bad idea.
My guess is WandaVision will be pushed.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure after the wrapping of each episode, they send it straight to post, so I'm sure they're along the road in post. Mm-hmm. But I think that they're not going to make a determination as to when it releases until they're back in there.
Yeah.
So, or at least when they know they'll be back in there on a particular date for sure. Because they know how much time they need to work on each episode. But right now, with everything being a question mark as to when people are going back to work, they don't know what that will be.
Yeah.
So they know where they are. They know how long they need for each episode. And when they're back at work, they can say, okay, now we've landed. We can work on this. And we need this much time so you can release it on this date. And we won't ever fall behind.
Yeah, and I feel like the pandemic is also, it's potentially doing something great for the film industry and the TV industry, because it's allowing people to go home and, let me explain. It's allowing people to go home in the middle of production and do two things. You're looking at your project again, and essentially you get a little bit more time to work on stuff. If you're in the middle of writing something, it's a dream come true if anybody's getting any writing done right now. Don't know if they are, but it allows you to go back and look at your revisions and really fine-tune scripts and drafts right now. It allows you to...
Nobody wants that if you're already in production.
Yeah, that's...
I mean, script changes come all the time anyway, but if a writer is allowed to, really go back to the drawing board and make too many changes, then that throws an entire production into chaos potentially.
Yeah, and a report that I heard, don't know if it's true, is that Matt Reeves, who's working on the Batman right now, they were in principal photography. It all got shut down because of Corona, obviously, but he came out and said, yeah, no, this is allowing us to really look at all the fight choreography and redo some stuff and make stuff even better. So don't know if that's true.
See, that worries me, because my thought is, well, you should have had that shit together already, man.
And maybe it is, and maybe they're just fine-tuning it.
If this time is giving you the opportunity to rethink what you were doing, you maybe were not ready to be doing that in the first place.
Yeah, that is a good point as well. And I mean, that's another project there's a lot of projects up in the air right now, but that's something else that I'm kind of going, is this going to help or what?
Yeah, like if I give you $200 million to make something, and a forced break in filming makes you rethink some shit, why did I give you $200 million? Don't use my $200 million unless you know exactly what you're doing.
Good point. Fair point. Another example of a delay in the middle of filming, Star Wars Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams and that whole production had to take a break midway through principal photography because, and I'm not making this up, look it up, a literal door fell on Harrison Ford, injuring Harrison Ford, and they had to...
Yeah, he broke his ankle.
Yes, and they had to take a break, and JJ later came out and said, yeah, that break allowed me to go back and we reworked some stuff and we came up with some new stuff, and you're seeing that in the film. So, again, don't know what he came up with, quote unquote, during that time, that downtime, but he claims that made the film better.
I think they actually didn't shut down production. I think they just moved a lot around.
That makes sense.
Because Harrison Ford's not in that much of the movie, honestly. So you can just push his shooting scenes to later in the schedule.
Yeah.
And if there was a break at all, it would have been to finish some sets that they thought were coming later.
Yeah. So that's... yeah.
A better example, actually, would be Westworld Season 1. They weren't forced to take a break, but I think in the production of Westworld Season 1, Jonathan Nolan saw that there were some opportunities in the writing that he could take better advantage of. So they shut down production for a month or two to do a bunch of rewrites.
Wow.
And the finished product that you get shows that it was the right move, because what we got was nearly a perfect season of television.
Yeah, I agree with you. Season 1 was really good. Still haven't watched Season 2 or any of Season 3 on that show, though. So,
Well, Season 3 just wrapped.
Heard that.
I mean, just finished, not wrapped.
Yeah.
It wrapped some time ago. Just finished airing. And it had a very dramatic ending, and I learned from you that they want to do 6 seasons total.
Yeah.
So this puts us halfway through, and I don't know where they go for another 3 seasons, and I'm excited to see it.
Story that I saw, but I don't necessarily know what it means. Didn't read into it as well. The showrunner said we might not end up doing 6 seasons. Don't know what that alludes to. Don't know if that means you're doing short seasons and pulling them out to 6. If you're doing just one elongated season that's actually 2 seasons worth of content that's just called one season. Like, I don't know what they have in store for that show. I probably should get back on that train and catch up on 2 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you finish season 1 and don't immediately want to jump into the next episode.
I think it's because I binged the whole thing like in a day and a half, and at the end of it, I was just kind of like, ugh. Like, that was one of the quarantine binges, and my wife and I did that show while doing a 500 very difficult puzzle, 500-piece puzzle. So I think...
Well, that reminds me, I have to finish my puzzle.
Yeah. Is it good? Are you close?
Very close, actually. It's just been sitting on the table for a couple of days, waiting to be finished. My wife and I did a 1,000-piece Andy Warhol self-portrait puzzle, which is like a whole bunch. It's like, I don't know, maybe 100 various Andy Warhol self-portraits.
Wow.
That was pretty difficult.
Holy crap.
And then now we're working on a Frank Lloyd Wright house.
Nice. We did a...
And it's two-sided. So the others... So we can take it apart, and the other side is the blueprints.
Oh, gosh. You win. So, yeah, I probably need to, A, not do a puzzle while I'm watching Westworld, and just get on Season 2 and 3. But I will do that eventually. So I don't know why this was a thing, but when Disney Plus launched a few months back, the internet was angry that National Treasure wasn't on Disney Plus. It was committed...
People need their Nicolas Cage, man.
Probably. He led the revolt on the internet. No, he Basically, it was committed to Netflix on being on Netflix exclusively for however long that contract ran for. And when it ran up, it got added to Disney Plus literally the next day. And that actually came a few days ago. It came at the beginning of the month, actually, here in May. But now it's on Disney Plus. The first one, the second one had always been there of the films. But now we find out that a National Treasure TV series is coming to Disney Plus.
All right, you want my thoughts on this?
Yes, please.
I'm having trouble caring about a series based on a movie that I stopped caring about 6 days after it came out.
Yeah, so you look at the first National Treasure, great film. You can...
Wait, there's more than one?
Yeah, there's two. You didn't know there's two?
I'm sure I knew at some point and forgot because I...
It
literally
just didn't register.
care. National Treasure was fun to watch. I saw it the day it came out, or the day before maybe, and then it was over. And my single recollection of that movie is the end shot, where he says, "Hey, honey, you want to know who shot JFK?"
Was that at the end?
That was the last thing in the whole movie.
I don't remember that. Huh.
It was the microfilm that the whole thing was about.
Huh.
It was footage from the grassy knoll or what the fuck ever, and it's an incredibly mediocre movie. It was of its time, and who cares? How do you make a series out of that? Someone going and finding secret clues on... come on. Nobody needs this.
I'll be honest, in the second film nowhere near as good as the first. The second...
And how do you think the series is going to be?
Exactly. They've been toying around with doing a third one with Nicolas Cage and producer Jerry Bruckheimer for, at this point, close to 15 years. They've been talking about doing National Treasure 3, and it's like, guys, what? No. I just think and they set up a third one in the second one. Heavily they set it up. But they left it so open-ended that it could literally be anything. And I just think they literally haven't come up with anything good for the third one.
Well, I don't remember the second one, so it probably didn't make any money.
The second one did a little bit better than the first, I want to say, financially. It was not a flop. It definitely was bigger as far as budget and scope. But it just doesn't have that same emotional toll as the first one does, and the same believability. You find one world-changing treasure that changes the course of human history, yeah, sure, but you can't literally pick up the pages a few months later and go, I'm looking for the next one. It's Nick Cage, you're not Indiana Jones. No. But supposedly this is going to be a completely new cast. It won't be the same characters, but it'll be in the same world, and I'm kind of open to that because I don't need to see a TV series of Nick Cage being Nick Cage. I'm good. And I don't even know if I necessarily want a third movie. I probably will watch it because at this point you've pulled this taffy for 15-ish years. It better be worth the payoff, but it probably won't be because it's Nick Cage.
I said my piece. I cannot imagine caring less about something.
Well, I've got something for you. Remember back in 2015 when... Fuck.
I've tried to forget.
I know. When the Fantastic Four reboot hit theaters... How's that mic working out for you now?
You know, this thing's fully extended. It's way, way over here. This is basic physics working out. I never intended for this mic to reach over to me at the computer here. And that it does at all is a super happy accident. Though I will tell people that I set everything up perfectly so that my mic works at the computer or over at my proper board podcast setup.
We're comparing mics right now over Skype.
But the Fucktastic Four.
Yeah, we're just delaying talking about it. So
the news story is Josh Trank said that doing reshoots was like being castrated. And I'm I'm going to say Josh Trank. I didn't even read this article, but I'm going to say Josh Trank is trying to pass the buck on the shittiness of that movie, when the fact is that every frame of that movie was shitty. You can't blame it on reshoots. The entire tone is wrong. The story is bad. It's uneven. The end feels tacked on and completely of a different tone. Everything about that movie is bad, except some of the casting. Like I don't mind Kate Mara or Michael B. Jordan. I'm not a fan of Miles Teller in that role. I don't even remember who played Ben Grimm.
Kind of doesn't matter because he's covered up with so much CG.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad move for that character. I liked the casting. You watch the first half of that movie, it feels like movie A, and the second half is movie B. There is a time skip there.
Oh, yeah. You don't see anything of them, like, figuring out their powers or... And then suddenly at the end...
Yeah, that literally all got skipped over.
The whole movie is bad. There's no way that reshoots or studio interference made this bad.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell that you shot this as some fucking grimdark bullshit, and that's not what Fantastic Four is.
Exactly. It doesn't need to be grim. I mean, and I say this jokingly, but I'm also dead serious. Look at The Incredibles. That is the best Fantastic Four movie that Disney's ever produced. That's ever been produced.
I think what happened is they looked at the earlier Fantastic Four movies, the ones with Ioan Gruffudd and Jessica Alba and Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis. And they were like, those are cheesy. Because they were cheesy. But it wasn't because they were light in tone. It was because they didn't really take the material seriously. They just weren't really well made, but that's not the fault of like making it not grim and dark. Going grim dark with superheroes is how superheroes got their foothold in popular culture beyond the nerds.
Yeah.
But they've transcended that. You don't need that anymore. And you need to know when to apply what kind of atmosphere to what property. Batman, you want him grimdark? Fine.
Perfect. He's
Batman. He lives in the dark. That's the point of him. Superman? Not so fucking much, Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Superman's not a dark character. Spider-Man? He can sort of straddle the line, actually. He can be bright and shiny and swing on over into some darkness and go back and forth. The Fantastic Four, they don't belong in the dark. They don't.
Yeah.
Their story is one about family and a pursuit of science and making the most of the downsides that come with pursuing what you love.
Consequences of pursuing what you love and furthering human evolution for human discovery. If you will.
So I think what happens in this movie is Doom like sabotages them or something, right? And then like the experiment goes wrong, and that's why they get something like that. I only saw it once and I hated it.
You're making me remember this in detail. They go to the other planet, and they basically get drunk one night and decide, yeah, we're going to that other planet because we did all the science work on it. We don't want like astronauts to be the first on this planet. We want to be the first on this planet.
Yeah, so they're being reckless.
Yeah, they got drunk and they got
Fuck
reckless.
That.
Yeah.
Fuck that right in the mouth. What it should be is they're explorers. You know, they're explorers. They're like the golden age of adventurers is what they are. They're frontiersmen.
Yeah.
And I don't mind changing the story from, you know, cosmic rays in space to finding an alternate dimension. Like they did that in the Ultimate Universe in the comics, and it works better given our current knowledge of science.
Yeah.
Cosmic rays don't hold up when we know what cosmic rays do is they give you cancer and kill you.
Yeah. My favorite science from back in the day of comics was the Flash inhaling the fumes of
Hard water.
Hard water. Yeah, I was trying to think of the exact phraseology. It's hard water. FYI, hard water is ice. If you stick your head in the freezer and breathe, you're not going to be the Flash. Sorry,
well, no,
kids.
hard water is like water with like minerals in it or something. It's like a term. You know, they have special filters to keep, but it doesn't give you super speed.
Again,
Look, the entire Marvel universe is based on one simple thing. Stan Lee doesn't understand radiation.
Yeah, he admitted
That's
that
how
in
you
so
get
many interviews,
Spider-Man, Hulk, the Fantastic Four. Like Stan Lee heard, oh, radiation does things to people. I'm not going to look any deeper.
I'm wondering how many people, like, throughout human history have tried to, like, wander onto, like, nuclear test sites thinking, I'm going to be Spider-Man. I'm going to be the Hulk. I got to go get my powers. Like, a couple of not sane people have probably tried that in human history at some point. Probably.
And then sometime in the 70s, you know, people were a little wiser about radiation, and the new thing turned into toxic waste.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows what toxic waste can do to you?
Go play in the lake with the toxic waste in it, son. Let's see what happens. Yes.
But yeah, that's the thing is like they're meant to be adventurers.
Mm-hmm.
They are in search of discovery and broadening their knowledge, and what happens is a tragic accident in the pursuit of that knowledge. And they do what they can to help people with what they were given there. And Ben Grimm is the most tragic because he doesn't even look human, and there's dealing with that. And this movie didn't handle any of that well.
No, I see the basic idea of what they were trying to do with it, and what
they
Josh
were
was
trying to
going
make
for,
something
but-
grimdark, and they rushed it. It was
Yeah.
a huge rush job because they didn't want to lose the rights.
Yeah.
The license. Their license required them to make a movie every so often, or lose the rights back to Marvel. And with Marvel at this point doing the MCU, Fox didn't want to lose that property.
Yeah.
And in the end, this and Daredevil were so bad that they were like, fuck it, it's not even worth trying to keep these licenses. We've destroyed these properties for all time, so we'll just let the rights revert back to Marvel. And they did.
And Marvel, like, they stopped producing Fantastic Four comics. I think they were trying to let the franchise not even die. I don't think Marvel was trying to kill it. I think Marvel wanted the rights back for the film, so they stopped.
They
producing
took it out of the
comics.
public eye. Yeah.
Yeah, they if you get rid of it and just make people forget about it, then you're not going to have a huge demand for it. So Marvel,
in the end, they
added to
didn't
that.
need to because they haven't made another Fantastic Four property, and now they own Fox.
Yeah, so it'll happen at some point. I think Feige has bigger plans right now, and they didn't include the Fantastic Four, and he can probably shoehorn them in if he wants to, but he probably is leaving them for much longer down the road. And why the fuck not? Is anybody right now going, I really want a good Fantastic Four movie? No, because we have two incredible movies, literally.
So I think that the smart move for Feige moving forward would be to just sort of name drop Dr. Richards here and there,
Yeah.
or maybe have Johnny Storm on a college football team or something.
That's not a bad idea.
Mention the Baxter Building. Build this up over, have one of them cameo in,
One of
before,
the big...
Before the accident.
Yeah, and one of the big questions is, within the MCU, we got, I don't even want to say a snippet of it, but we got kind of a background thing on it in Spider-Man Far From Home. Avengers Tower in New York was sold. Who purchased that tower? There are rumors online that it was Oscorp. There are rumors online that it will be the Baxter Building. There's no confirmation either way for Marvel. There's nothing is leaked from it, but it could be either or.
I would love Avengers Tower becoming the Baxter Building. That'd be fantastic.
I think it'd be perfect. It'd be fantastic. Look at you, punny pun.
Oh man, I did not even mean that. Literally, no pun intended.
I know,
Completely
but that was really
unintentional.
Good.
But the other thing, the way they handled Doctor Strange is another method they could roll them in, because Doctor Strange, his story started back in 2008, I think. So by the time the Doctor Strange movie came out, he had already been around. All of his story happened while we were watching all the other movies. They just didn't hit our radar. He was a doctor who got in an accident. Why are we going to hear about that? And then he goes to Tibet or where the fuck ever. And so, he's off on his own thing. And then he comes back to New York, to Bleecker Street. And, he's in his sanctum. He's not out there fighting these big guys until that time. So we went and showed that all of that was already happening.
We even had the Ancient One fighting the 2012 aliens in Avengers. We found that out in Endgame. That was a nice little way to include the Doctor Strange. The Ancient One was on the roof in Endgame back in 20...
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Dormammu for some reason. But you mean Tilda Swinton.
Yes, exactly. The Ancient One. She was, doing her thing. And
yeah, right. She was up there blasting the and that was
Chitauri.
Really great. Yeah, Chitauri, thank you. That was really great too, where she knew he was there before Stephen Strange got in his accident.
Yeah.
But she knew all of that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I loved that.
That was a very, very, very nice little. Almost a one-line dialogue throwaway almost, but it explained so much and it gave you so much insight to her character with just that one line. It's wonderful.
When you see Endgame and you see the perfection of the MCU as a cohesive whole, why even does Sony want to try to do their own thing? Yeah. Sony, you've proven to us that you are bad at Spider-Man. You are so bad at Spider-Man. In 2002, you were great at Spider-Man because that was our first time, And with Spider-Man 2, you were even better. That's one of the rare sequels that's better than the original. But then, you guys, you fucking bought into your own hype, and you thought that you knew better than Sam Raimi, and you made Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
And then that was so bad that you're like, okay, we need to start over. Let's see if we can top how bad Spider-Man 3 was. Success. Actually, the first new Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield wasn't that bad. I mean, it was bad.
They went dark
bad.
And they didn't need to go dark.
Right. But then with the next one, they went dark and cheesy at the same time. And Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the worst Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
It's worse than emo Peter Parker dancing down the street in Spider-Man 3.
Whoa. Shots fired.
Look, almost any movie I can sit in and enjoy while I watch it, and then criticize later as I process it. I enjoyed watching Man of Steel. It wasn't until I was in the parking lot that I
Yeah.
started getting really angry.
Yeah, in that third act, I'll give you that. Man of Steel is fine until the third act.
It's garbage start to finish, essentially. But it's something you can sit and enjoy. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so bad that I was just angry the whole time I was watching it. The whole thing was bad. I mean, Jamie Foxx's Electro, before he becomes Electro, is the same exact character as Jim Carrey's Edward Nygma from 1995's Batman Forever. It's exactly the same character. And if you're looking at a Joel Schumacher Batman movie for inspiration for your Spider-Man movie, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. But
And Josh Trank's Fantastic Four was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 of the Fantastic Four series, and you can't blame that on other people, Josh. Look, man, I love Chronicle. That's a great movie. You did a good job. Just own your shitty Fantastic Four thing. Without the interference that castrated you, quote unquote, it was still going to be a shitty movie. Period.
yeah, it would have been less shitty, I think, but it still would have been not great tonally. I give him credit for trying to bring a different tone and a different take on the Fantastic Four. Good for you for trying, but that doesn't get you a passing grade, pal. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, you know what? No. I don't give him credit for trying that. It's like, okay, this team's been around for 60 years, and they've had the same tone for 60 years, and that's what people love about them. Let's try something new. Fuck you!
Fair point.
It would be like if we didn't have the 1960s Batman TV show, right? If Batman had always been the Batman that he started at and that we got starting in the mid-'80s, always the Dark Avenger of the Night, instead of having that whole weird, happy, bright Batman series, okay? So Batman's dark the whole time, right? And then, now, in 2015, someone's like, hey, let's do a bright, happy Batman movie. I mean, he's been around for 75 years as a Dark Avenger of the Night. Let's try something new. Fuck you.
My body is rejecting that reality. No. I refuse.
Did you know that Robert Smigel, the guy who does Triumph the Insult Comic Dog, and Ace and Gary, the ambiguously gay duo, the guy that created those things, did you know that we almost got a Green Lantern movie from him, starring Jack Black?
Oh, no. 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 I love Jack Black, but no. No.
That's what we got Ryan Reynolds instead of that. So, while at the time I thought bullet dodged, now I'm kind of like, maybe that would have been the way to go.
Yeah.
I have the script. We'll read it eventually on Table Reads.
Yeah. We just saw the other Jumanji movie with him in it. He does a fucking great job in Jumanji.
Oh, on your recommendation, I did watch the second Jumanji.
Did you like it?
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I like Jack Black. I don't know if he realizes this, but he steals the movie whenever he's in a scene with anybody, because he is playing into whatever character he is playing. Literally, he plays two different characters.
Speaking of that, I was astonished at how amazing Kevin Hart was at being Danny Glover.
Right?
Kevin Hart killed that shit.
Yeah, he did.
Second, I was simultaneously astonished and not all that surprised at how bad The Rock was at being Danny DeVito.
Who is Jumanji? Like, I don't know.
Awkwafina did a pretty passable Danny DeVito.
Yeah, she was
Dwayne
wonderful.
Johnson did not.
Yeah, everything that I said about Jack Black, I echo about Awkwafina, because she did a wonderful job playing dual characters in that movie as well.
But Kevin Hart was the real shining star.
Yeah.
Because he was Danny Glover.
Yeah.
He fucking killed it.
It was perfect. It
the
really
horse
was.
also made a decent Danny Glover.
That was a good reveal, that horse. That was very good. Final story. This one is sad.
Finally, we get to talk about a story that I actually care about.
Yeah, we had to throw this one in there for a few reasons. We on Nerdgasm are huge fans of the show Scrubs. Sam Lloyd, who played Ted the lawyer on the show, unfortunately passed away.
Oh, man.
Doing a Sam Lloyd impersonation. 56 years old, unfortunately, lost his life to cancer, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, he was best known for Ted Buckland on Scrubs. But
a character he also played on an episode or two of Cougar Town.
Yes. He reprised his role for Cougar Town. He's done several other things on TV as well, but
he was also in the band The Blanks.
Which is
the acapella band on Scrubs is his
Yep.
real acapella band, The Blanks. They have albums. You should check them out. It's a lot of fun stuff. The thing is, I was speaking with one of my closest friends that day about Ted, about Sam Lloyd, and how great he is on that role. Because, of course, I'm in the middle of my annual Scrubs rewatch.
And it's perfect timing, too, because Fake Doctors, Real Friends is a podcast that exists that you need to watch you need to listen to if you're a Scrubs fan like we are.
It is Zach Braff and Donald Faison rewatching Scrubs and talking about it with guests such as show creator Bill Lawrence, who's been on twice now. Sarah Chalk has been on. Judy Reyes has been on.
I'm in the Judy Reyes episode,
so
and I'm
good.
loving it. They also had Perry Cox.
John C. McGinley.
John C. McGinley, which
Don't know how I forgot Johnny C.
they picked the episode that they filmed the week of 9/11 for him, and holy crap, he has a story about 9/11 to tell.
Oh my, yes.
Oh wow! Like I stopped. I had an earbud in listening while I was working on the computer. I stopped and was staring at my phone listening to that, just so engaged. It was oh man. But yeah, I will say that is probably the best thing to come from COVID is that podcast coming out in such high frequencies. 2 episodes a week, and they're like an hour plus.
I listened to one the day before yesterday, and then the next day I already had a new one to listen to. It's my new favorite podcast, other than Table Reads.
Look at you go. I'm a fan of the Stargirl After Show. Although
thanks.
I'm only like, I think I'm on the 3rd episode, but you keep putting them out. Like,
I'm not a fan of Stargirl After Show because it is eating like 40 to 50 hours of my week every week. Like, I'm working full time during quarantine just on this podcast. I'm making it really good. It's just taking a lot of effort, is what I'm saying.
your production value and research is wonderful. I, going into that podcast, knew next to nothing about Stargirl, admittingly, and I think that's most people, most casual comic fans probably don't know much about her. So it's like the perfect thing to listen to right before the show. I am waiting for the show, though, but I am insanely behind on my podcasts. It is not funny.
I have to say, we haven't even gotten into the episodes about the actual show yet.
Yeah.
That'll start on the 22nd. Our episode covering episode 1 of the TV show will drop. And then starting in episode 3, we've got celebrity interviews with like cast members. So far I have interviewed Neil Jackson, who plays Icicle, Yvette Monreal, who plays Wildcat, Angelica Washington, who plays Dr. Midnight, Cameron Gelman, who plays Our Man, Nelson Lee, who plays Dragon King, Jake Austin Walker, who plays question mark, and yes, Breck Bassinger, who plays Stargirl. I have interviewed all of them. I have more interviews coming, and it's going to be the absolute best podcast anyone could ever make about this show. And I don't think there's any media outlet in any form that has more interviews or will have more interviews with cast members than my podcast.
You have almost the entire cast in the tank already, my friend. Holy crap. That is amazing.
It's a lot of work. I think I only have... Yeah, I have 3 cast members left to interview. One of them I'm doing today. In like 6 hours.
Nice.
And then 2 more I have to schedule, and then I've got 3 more crew members. I'm trying to get Jeff Johns. I actually haven't reached out to him yet. I just need to send an email. I'm trying to get Jeff Johns, the super suit designer, Laura Jean Shannon. She also did super suits for Doom Patrol and The Boys. And Walter Garcia, the stunt coordinator, who, for my money, is the most impressive person on the show.
From what I've seen from trailers, it looks like there's amazing stunt work in it. And I even saw an article that went up a couple days ago. Joe McHale was talking about how his part on that show is a dream come true for him and how he loved it. So I've never seen so much positivity and so many things being said that compliment a show before it's launched like this. It's the hype behind the show is real, my friend.
I'm glad, because those of us that were involved in the show feel like maybe there isn't enough hype. And I think that Disney's Stargirl movie, which is not at all related or anything to do with this, made a lot of confusion. For example,
I agree.
2 of the cast members had auditioned for a role in the Disney Stargirl movie when their auditions for this came up. And they were like, I already auditioned for that. And it was confusing. I learned that in my interviews with them. It might even be more of them. More of them may have also auditioned for that movie before getting this and been confused. But 2 of them have brought that up. That's
unfortunate. That as soon as I saw Disney do that, and that was like I still don't know what Disney's Stargirl movie is about. I know it's something to do with a middle schooler or a high school girl.
It's like some high school girl that plays ukulele or something. I don't know.
On that note, that's all the nerdy news.
Sam Lloyd, nephew of Christopher Lloyd, beer of Ted. We will miss you.
He is a lawyer.
That's it. I'm gonna miss Sam Lloyd. Think he's great. He's hilarious. He's a good singer and an amazing basketball player.
Was he really?
Listen to Fake Doctors, Real Friends.
Huh. I didn't catch that in an episode. That must be coming up.
You're not there yet.
No.
I think it's the episode after the one you're listening to. There are a couple after the one you're listening to. But, get caught up on Stargirl After Show first.
There's so much. Don't even get me the show that I literally have shelved, and it is in my queue, and I will eventually get to it. Table reads. I'm ridiculously behind on table reads. I don't even want to start. Like, it's bad, my friend. But
you know who else is ridiculously behind on table reads?
You.
Me. I don't have any episodes left in the can.
Dun, dun, dun.
We were doing the last part of Watchmen, and all of my technology failed simultaneously.
Oh, crap.
So we have most of the final part of Watchmen in the can, and we're going to finish that on Tuesday and then do 3 other full episodes so that I'm not panicking.
Damn, son.
And then the next day, I'm recording the first full episode of Stargirl after show that actually covers an episode of the show. And in the meantime, I have all those interviews I listed to edit, which take about 8 hours apiece.
Damn.
Except for 2, because I've already done 2. So there's that. So, with that said, let's sign off so I can get editing.
Yeah. And because I like this song and it's a wonderful little tribute to Sam, we are playing the Blanks version of Hey Ya, which is a lovely little song.
Yeah, I think that he sings that solo for the janitor's wedding in the Bahamas.
Yes, he does. And then they went back and they re-recorded this version, which we're hearing now, which I may or may not have played at my wedding and danced to with my wife.
And you know what else is great about Hey Ya? It's Outkast, obviously. And the house in whose basement they recorded their first album is 30 feet away from me.
No way!
I literally live right next door to the dungeon.
Oh, that's crazy cool. But Sam Lloyd, we will miss you. Thank you for all the wonderful memories on Scrubs. For the Nerdgasm Podcast, I'm Alan Bailey.
And I'm Shawn McBee.
We'll see you, nerds.
My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really wanna, but can't stand to see me walk out the door? I can't stand to fight the feeling, cause the thought alone is killing me right now. Thank God for Mom and Dad for sticking two together, cause we don't know how. And hey, 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 you think you got it, no, you think you got it, but got it, just don't get it till there's nothing at all. We get together, oh, we get together, but separate's always better when there's feelings involved. If what they say that nothing is forever, then what makes love the exception? So why are we so in denial when we know we're not happy here? Hey, hey, hey,
Thanks for listening.
It is a shame that your people suffered.
Subscribe and listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, and the Tunein app.
Yeah? Well, we're not doing that. Good.
And don't forget to leave a comment and a 5-star review.
The Force will be with you. Always.
This was a Nerdgasm Podcast production.
Well, that was another in a long series of regrettable life choices.
Served at nerdgasmpodcast.com.